Hey guys, I want to talk to you about a question that I get fairly frequently, and maybe it's a question you've wondered yourself. I get this question of how do you create sustainable change in people? You know, when you think about that, there's really kind of three ways it happens. Number one, there are carrots, right? It's you give them a reward, you give them some positive outcome that comes from change behavior. And so sometimes that works. People begin to change the way they do things simply because of some outcome they want that's beneficial to themselves. Another way is not just carrots, but it's consequences. So it's not a carrot, it's a stick. There are negative consequences to unchanged behavior. And so a lot of times you'll have leaders or managers use consequences, and there's a place for consequences just like there is a place for carrots. But both of those have their limitations. There's really one other way of doing it that I think is the strongest or most powerful way of creating sustainable change in a person. And it's not carrots and it's not consequences, it's their character. I've got a model I've taught for many years. It's called the heart of leadership. And the reality is that a person's character is fundamentally a reflection of their heart. That when you change a person's heart, you will change their behavior. And when you change their heart, that behavior tends to be much more sustainable over the long run. I've talked to many people who they have had a heart change, and as a result of that, they have broken bad habits. They've picked up new habits that are beneficial to them simply because of a change of heart. When your heart is impacted, think about all the things you do just instinctively. You don't do them because they're your duty. You don't do them merely because there's a benefit to it or there's a cost to not do it. You know, when you love someone and you have given them your heart, there's a lot of things you do that are just instinctive. Hopefully, you listen to them instinctively, you try to help them, you serve them, you do whatever you can to show them that you care for them because your heart cares deeply for them. In the same way, great coaches and great leaders have an ability to tap into the heart of their people and their players. And when you tap into their heart, we all know that that athlete and that person that is out doing a job, they're going to give far more than they thought they could give when they have the right person that is tapped into their heart. The real question becomes, how do you impact a person's heart? It's interesting, in all the years I've been doing coaching and training and speaking with companies, that's the one area that I think leaders really feel the most reluctant to tap into. They don't mind working on skill development. They don't mind working on social competencies and these things to try to help improve their people. But when it comes to their character, to their heart, that is something that a lot of times people feel reluctant to tap into because it just seems so personal. The reality is that's exactly the place we have to really begin to press into to really begin to help form and shape the hearts of the people around us. Anyway, I want you to think about that just as a leader. How am I leading my team, my group, my company in such a way that I'm tapping into their heart and forming and shaping their heart into a greater desire to want to be great leaders? Not because of the carrots and not because of the consequences that are there, but because their heart genuinely loves the idea of leadership, which is the idea of helping people move from point A to point B because it is in the best interest of everybody. Anyway, something to think about, tapping into the heart of our people.